Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is going to be my review today for Abigail, which is this brand new vampire horror movie from the guys at Radio Silence. I was actually pretty excited to go and see this. I really like these guys' movies. For anybody that's familiar with them, of course they did all of the newest Scream movies we've got with 5 and 6, and also Ready or Not as well. So, I think horror movies that are about, going out and having a good time watching them, not taking themselves too seriously, and just there for horror fans to go and have a good time. So I thought this was going to be great. The trailers looked really cool as well, so I was interested to go and see it. So getting into a bit about the story here, this is about this group of professional criminals who kidnap this young girl in order to extort a load of money from her wealthy and powerful father. And whilst they're laying it low in this mansion, keeping this girl, whilst they get the money, they find out that this young girl is holding on to some dark secrets that are about to be unleashed onto them. So the main thing that really works about this movie, I think, is just the blend of the comedy and the horror. And I personally think it's a tone that's really difficult to get right. I'm not the biggest fan of comedy horror. I always find that one part ends up overpowering the other and it ends up becoming distracting. But with these guys' movies, I do think they know how to create just a fun vibe there, where you've got characters that have got good banter, there's lots of funny moments, but they never take you out of all of the moments that are meant to be scary, fighting against the horror elements there as well. And I found that with all their previous movies, and here they've delved a lot more into the comedy, but for whatever reason it just really works. I think the main thing is this cast of characters, the dynamic between them and the banter and everything is just so funny. Like, even though they are this group of criminals, and in a weird way they kind of have like a lot of very unlikable traits. Like, if you saw how these characters were written on paper, you'd probably think you weren't going to be able to follow along with them or relate to any of them. But when you actually watch the charisma that a lot of these actors have, it just brings this really nice dynamic where you like following along with them. They put themselves into loads of really hilarious situations as this crazy night plays out, and something about the whole thing just really works. I think especially with Kathryn Newton, she plays this really quirky computer hacker, and she kind of goes along with all of this stuff because she just loves the thrill of a heist. She loves to get involved in these situations, and again, just some of her reactions to things that are going on are just absolutely hilarious. So she was a particular standout. And also the character played by Dan Stevens, and he's kind of like the more antagonistic character of the group. He's the one that, these group of criminals, they don't know who each other are. They have code names for each other. They don't know each other on any kind of personal level. They've all been pulled into this job separately. And he's the one that kind of wants to keep to himself, do things his way, get in, get out and be done with it. And just, where the storyline for him goes, it goes in a lot of directions I wasn't expecting at all. And it's a lot of fun and pretty wild as well. So really enjoyed him being here. The lead character here is played by Melissa Barrera, which of course is the go-to leading woman for these guys. She's basically playing the same character, I think, that she was as Sam in Scream. She's kind of got a very similar story arc. This woman with a troubled past who's kind of overcoming a lot of those demons at the same time as dealing with her current situation. But, that's not a bad thing at all. I really like her. I think she's a really likeable actress. She's got a great on-screen presence. You take her seriously. She handles like really fast and snappy dialogue well, I think. So she's always really convincing in the situations, and she looks great, and she's just a great leading lady for a horror film, I think. So as much as I loved her in Scream as well, and I think she does a really nice job here. And I do think the particular standout is this young girl, Alisha Weir, who plays the vampire character. And I think mainly because she's quite young. She's probably only like 13 or 14, but she has to play quite a lot of size, this character. Obviously, when they first kidnap this girl, she's very kind of innocent, playing the victim, you know, just kind of the scared young girl who wants to be back with her dad and out of the situation. And obviously, when you find out who she really is and how unhinged and off the rails she goes, she's pretty impressive. I swear it, just these days, the filmmakers find better child actors. I don't know if it's just I've noticed that pattern recently, but I do think from a lot of movies where, you know, child actors is not the easiest thing to get right, I don't think, but here, fantastic. Really, really liked watching her in the lead, and she stands up to all of this group of people really well. So a lot of fun to watch the dynamic between her and the rest of these characters. So this is definitely not your teen brand of vampires, you know, Twilight and stuff like that. This is much more hardcore. There's easily enough blood and gore to match an Evil Dead movie. It's so extreme, and I absolutely loved that about it. I do think that has actually been a trend with more recent horror movies, is that filmmakers seem less willing to kind of cut down and edit things unnaturally in order to, you know, appease the censors a little bit more and get the lower age rating. This movie just has set out to be exactly what it wants to be and go as extreme as it wants to go, and that's a lot of what made it so fun. And I think just, again, that contrast between the funny, light-hearted side of this and then seeing how extreme it ends up going, something about the whole tone of that just really worked for me and made it so much fun to watch. I actually think they shouldn't have marketed this as being a vampire movie, and this is not spoilers at all here. All of the posters, the trailer, all of the elements of the marketing is very much talking about this as a vampire movie. You know exactly who Abigail is, and it's just a bit weird, I think, how the first half an hour plays out, where there is like a little bit of an element of mystery about it, where these characters are trying to work out who each other are. Are they double crossing each other? They find something a bit unsettling and a bit mysterious about Abigail as well, and her relationship with her father, and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, it's playing out almost like to the audience that there's going to be some kind of twist reveal. But obviously we already know what that is because that's how the movie has been marketed. So I thought there was something a little bit strange about that. I actually think they should have hidden that from the trailers, you know, showed that, you know, the situation gets out of control, goes off the rails, but not actually have told us the fact that this girl is a vampire and that's what leads to all this chaos. I think that would have been a much more interesting route to go. So overall, I had a really good time with this movie. You know, it's not the most ambitious film in the world. It's setting out to be, you know, just a bloody extreme vampire movie that's there to give you laughs, give you thrills, give you scares, and just get you to have a good time with it. And that's exactly what it does. I think, honestly, the closest I would get to giving this film a negative would, there's a few lines of dialogue I think that are a little bit cheesy, especially towards the end when you get some of the final reveals and the final conflicts and stuff like that. Some of that I think could have been written a little bit better. But other than that, you know, this movie delivers, I think, on exactly what it sets out to do. And, you know, I think for anybody that's liked the previous movies from Radio Silence, you know, Scream, Ready or Not, stuff like that, you kind of know whether you're the sort of person that's going to enjoy Abigail, I think. So it's definitely up my street. I had a really good time with this. So for people that are a fan of their movies, I would highly recommend you go and check this one out. So I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 5 rating. So that's all my thoughts for you on Abigail. If you've seen the movie, please do let me know down in the comments section what you thought of it, whether you enjoyed it, and do you think this is the best film we've had yet from Radio Silence? Let me know all of your thoughts down below. Also, if you've been enjoying my content, please do consider subscribing to my channel. I've got lots more reviews like this one coming soon. Thanks so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.